The first thing the girl did after her rebirth was to cling tightly to the female director's coattails and become her lackey. She willingly ran errands for the director every single day, all because in her past life, she'd listened to her so-called best friend's coaxing. Not only did she brush off the director's kind advances, but she also repeatedly went head-to-head against her. In the end, however, she was tricked by this so-called best friend into taking out a loan shark for her. This led to the girl being hunted down by debt collectors. Instead of helping her pay off the debt, her so-called best friend took the chance to kill her. Never would she have imagined that in the very next second, she would be reborn and sent back to the exact moment she first met the female director on a high-speed train. The woman was offering her 5,000 yuan to swap seats so she could get the window spot. But upon hearing this, her best friend lashed out at the female director, accusing her of insulting the girl with money. She told the girl not to agree to the seat swap. Yet having lived through this once before, the girl knew full well her best friend was just consumed by jealousy that she was getting the chance to earn 5,000 yuan. That's why she was deliberately stirring up trouble. Without hesitation, the girl slapped her best friend right across the face. She explained by saying there was a mosquito on her cheek. Then the girl turned to the female director and said she was willing to swap seats because she knew that this female director was not only about to be parachuted into their company as their top boss, but also that she was the wealthy and generous daughter of a tycoon. Sure enough, in the blink of an eye, the female director took the initiative to ask for her contact information and transferred 5,000 yuan to her right away. Witnessing this scene, her best friend's jealousy and hatred flared even more intensely. She deliberately shouted at the top of her lungs, accusing the girl of losing her dignity just for 5,000 yuan. She wanted all the passengers to gang up on the girl, but the girl just slapped her again. She said the mosquitoes were being way too noisy. Seeing what was happening, the other passengers all sided with the girl. They agreed that if someone offered them 5,000 yuan, they would also swap seats without a second thought. Left with no other choice, her best friend slunk back to her seat in utter embarrassment. However, when they went to work at the company the next day, her best friend suddenly started being nice to her, but the girl saw right through her act. She was certain that her best friend had heard the news about the female director being parachuted into the company. Having been coveting a position like that for ages, her best friend wanted to coax her into sabotaging the new director. Sure enough, moments later, her best friend rounded up a bunch of colleagues. She insinuated that the newly arrived female director had only gotten the position through nepotism, and that she herself was the most suitable person for the director's job. Upon hearing this, all the colleagues chimed in, saying they would help her drive the new director out. But just then, the female director walked into the company. Her best friend was struck dumb with shock when she realized this woman was none other than the wealthy young lady she had met on the high-speed train the day before. At that moment, the female director announced that she was going to select a personal assistant from the company, someone to help her get up to speed with the company's operations quickly. She asked if anyone was willing to take on the role voluntarily, but all the employees had listened to the girl's best friend and not a single person stepped forward. As the female director's gaze fell on the girl, her best friend started sowing discord again. She claimed that the director had just glared at the girl. She insisted the director must think the girl was a gold digger for accepting money to swap seats the previous day. She egged the girl on to teach the new director a lesson to assert her dominance, but the girl simply pushed her best friend aside. She publicly declared that she was willing to be the new personal assistant. Upon hearing this, the female director looked at her with immense approval. She announced on the spot that not only would she be giving the girl a promotion and a raise, but she would also be adding an extra 10,000 yuan to her monthly salary. When everyone heard this, they were left completely stunned. It was not until they saw the chat records the girl pulled out that the colleagues realized with shock that the girl had never asked her best friend to do any work for her at all. Instead, it had always been the girl who did all of her best friend's work. It turned out that not long ago, a female director had been parachuted into the company. The best friend, who had long been coveting this position, was consumed by jealousy and hatred because of it. She then incited all the colleagues in the company to boycott the director together. She even wanted the girl to teach the director a lesson right off the bat. However, the girl not only refused to listen to her, but also gave the female director a warm welcome. The only reason was that in her previous life, she had listened to her best friend and clashed with the director at every turn. In the end, though, she was killed by that very best friend. Besides, based on her experience from her previous life, the girl knew that the female director was actually the daughter of a billionaire who had come to the company to gain experience. That was why she decided to build a good relationship with the director this time around. Sure enough, after seeing the girl's friendly gestures, the director promoted her to be her personal assistant on the spot. She also raised the girl's monthly salary directly from 3,000 yuan to 15,000 yuan. On hearing this, everyone was dumbfounded. The girl was so excited that she hugged the director's legs. She swore that she would be the director's loyal follower from then on. However, this only made her best friend even more jealous and hateful. She turned around and incited her colleagues. They went to find the girl, who was helping the director clean, and told her that the finance department had not received any news about her salary raise at all. The director must have just made a hollow promise to trick her into working harder. The best friend even incited the girl to report the director for employee abuse. That way, she would not blame the girl for betraying her. Otherwise, the girl would not only fail to get a salary raise, but also lose her as a best friend. Yet the very next second, the girl received a transfer of 12,000 yuan from the female director, who paid the money out of her own pocket. She immediately showed off triumphantly, saying that she would rather take the money than keep the best friend. Seeing this, all the colleagues were filled with envy, but the best friend immediately sowed discord again, claiming that the girl had abandoned her dignity and friendship for over 10,000 yuan. If it were her, she would could never do such a thing. On hearing this, the colleagues all praised the best friend for her integrity and loyalty. However, the girl retorted, asking her if she did not care about money, then why did she even come to work? She might as well donate all her salary from now on. Upon hearing this, the best friend was left tongue-tied. The colleagues, though, were still foolish enough to try to speak up for the best friend. The girl could no longer hold back her anger, so she picked up a broom and drove them out directly. But the best friend still refused to back down, saying that with such a high salary, the director must have loads of work for her to do. The girl could not help but feel anxious. After finishing the cleaning, she asked the director if there was any other work she needed to do. However, the director said that she only needed to keep the place clean. On hearing this, the girl was overjoyed, but she thought that just cleaning was not worth such a high salary, so she took the initiative to take on the task of making coffee for the director. Unexpectedly, when she went to make the coffee, she accidentally overheard her best friend colluding with the colleagues to disobey the director's work arrangements. When the director failed to carry out her work smoothly, they would make both the girl and the director get out of the company. At that moment, the colleagues noticed the girl standing nearby. They thought she had been eavesdropping on purpose to snitch. They immediately denounced her as a traitor. The best friend had treated her so well before, and even helped her with a lot of work. They never thought that she would turn around and side with the female director who had taken the position her best friend had been eyeing. Seeing this, the best friend even put on a show of stopping everyone from blaming the girl. She said that even if kindness went unrewarded, she would not hold it against her. However, the girl decided that she would pursue the matter to the very end. She immediately pulled out their chat records. The records clearly showed message after message of the best friend begging the girl to help her with her work. Only then did the colleagues realize that beneath her hard-working facade, the best friend was actually so deceitful and cunning. But this only made the best friend fly into a rage. She lied, claiming that the chat records must have been forged by the girl. With that, she told several colleagues to corner the girl and teach her a lesson. Just as the situation turned critical, the female director arrived in the nick of time.